Okay, we are recording. Thanks Christian for joining us today. I mean, it's wonderful to have you on stage and talk with me. I mean, I'm Pepper. I'm an independent researcher. I do have run a community as well, some YouTube channels. And I have been interviewed some of the expert in the space already, such as Gideon from Bitmask and Diba and Pepper RGB. The founder of Pepper, the
Yeah, yeah,
Pep,
very,
Pep
very.
project, very ambitious and interesting project. He told me a lot about the roadmaps that he's about to build along the way. Accepting he's not very into selling virtual lands and stuff. He wanted to actually like people wanted to stop buying goods on air. Right, so that's some very ambitious and interesting idea. Yeah, the Christian is the founder of Spank platform. Can you just do I mean like just do a little introduction of yourself and maybe talk about the stuff that you are building right now?
All right. Okay. So I have the so-called slide ready. Because first of all, I used to be a venture capitalist for a VC firm 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago. Then I started my business. So that's why I'm very like a consultant. I have slides ready when I'm about to talk. So yeah, about me.
You can oh,
Uh,
okay,
yeah.
you can add this to stage, yeah.
Okay, so about me at the moment, what I'm working on is first current project is a Taproot asset exchange, and also for token and NFT, but that is currently being built. The features are currently being built, but at the same time, I'm also exploring RGB 20 and RGB 21 exchange. We are going to release this sometime, hopefully before the end of this month, not end of the year, because to take advantage, we have the Pepe and we have the seed project going to launch soon. There's no market for it. There's no place for you to trade and buy, sell, even like to get it. So we are going to have one RGB 20 and RGB 21 exchange to be released, hopefully by end of this month. If not, early next month, not early next year, early next month.
Yeah,
Because
people can't wait,
yeah. So why is that? The technology has been there for quite some time, but the developer mindshare is very low. Not many people actually aware about RGB, and not many people aware how to code or develop decentralized application on RGB. So those two projects, RGB 20 Exchange and RGB 21 Exchange, first we're going to build a hybrid CEX. I will build in private, but my partners will take it up. So I don't really have the name or the name of the projects ready to be released with you. You will know that some of the projects will be built will be developed by me, but there's no public information about it anywhere. Because I will pass it to my partner. Yeah, I'm the technology guy, not the marketing guy. So after that, I intend to launch a few GameFi project that will use RGB 20 and RGB 21. But looking at the RGB ecosystem at the moment, there is based on also the questions that you asked, there's a lot of infrastructure application or infrastructure projects that needs to be done. For example, there's no proper wallet. There is working wallet. There is no wallet that is smooth. That has a smooth user interface like MetaMask. Because Bitcoin is a larger ecosystem compared to Ethereum, but we need so-called better user interface and user experience. Plus, with RGB, we can make it faster and cheaper compared to Ethereum, and
Yeah.
we can tap a larger market compared to Ethereum. So at the moment, I think it's the wallet and also the transaction scanner for you to see the transaction between users or exchanges for RGB 20 and RGB 21. But at the same time also because of RGB enables some sort of to a lesser extent a smart contract where you can program a contract, but then again it's not as powerful like you can create a 3D game or something like that fully in RGB contract, but you can to a certain extent have elements of the smart contract to be integrated in your game or in your application. So those transactions and everything, there is no some sort of scanner or registrar that is available on the market. So that is something a project that I'm thinking about or exploring. Maybe in next year we'll conduct. But at the same time also, because you also have a question about UTXO, this UTXO or single use can be considered as single use seal, is a very nascent market, very new market. Perhaps there's a lot of things to be explored. A lot of your questions also ask about UTXO. So maybe because at the moment management of UTXO is very complicated. So that's why if we can provide some sort of better user experience for managing UTXO, there's a market, really huge market for it. Yeah.
Yes,
So these
yes,
are the
I
current
totally, I couldn't agree more. We do, there's huge opportunities and potential for the RGB ecosystem. As you just been said, I mean, a lot of infrastructures is like really lags right now. So, I mean, you have taken advantage of making, exchanges along the way. So why not just talk a bit about your platform and what the functionalities that your platform have at the moment or will have by the end of this month?
Oh, correct. Okay, so the first is that currently the so-called exchange that I'm building is based on Taproot. It's not based on RGB purely, but so the current features that we have is actually to mint NFT. That's it for the moment, just to mint NFT.
Mint? Okay.
Mint NFT or UDA is for Taproot. Okay, so the function that the new exchange that we have is that first is that you'll be able to post a sell order, something like if you see Nostro Asset or a lot of exchanges where they have a so-called order book where you actually post orders. Then you can buy based on those orders. There's a fee imposed on the order book. But the unique thing about the exchange that we're building is actually our exchange will have a ready buyer and seller because we're going to implement AMM model, meaning that if you do not want to wait for people to buy or sell your order, so you just buy and sell straight from the liquidity pool.
Okay.
So let's say we take let's talk about we're using Pepe as example, right? Because Pepe is going to be booming. There's no market for it yet. So let's take Pepe. How Pepe can benefit from it? Okay, let's say you have Pepe, you have 100 of Pepe. Then what you want to do is that you want to sell it. Okay, you can sell it via order book. You put like 100 Satoshi per 1 Pepe. So 100 Pepe means that 10,000 Satoshi per order. Correct? You want to sell. Correct. But at the same time, you also think that, there is a liquidity pool ready. I can sell directly to the liquidity pool. There's a certain price because of what we call it a bonding curve. There's a certain price. If you sell a small amount, the price impact is going to be low. But if you sell a very large amount compared to the amount of liquidity in the pool, you're going to impact the price greatly. So the RGB 20, this particular RGB 20 exchange, you're going to trade with the pool. When you trade the
Oh.
pool, you might get a better price when you trade with the pool compared to you posting the order on order book. And the trade is instantaneous. You don't have to wait for people to check your orders. You trade directly with the pool. So that's one when you can sell. Number two is that when you can buy, you don't have to wait for people to, you don't have to, let's say you want to buy, let's say the orders on the order books are about 100, 200, 200 pepes, but actually you just want to buy one pepe, for example, right? So you can buy just one from the AMM. You don't have to buy 100 or 200. Let's say you have whatever amount that you want to buy, you can buy straight from the pool. You don't have to use the order book. That's one example. The third example is that you might want to benefit from
Injection of the liquidity.
Yes. I think you're very aware about liquidity pool. So yes, when you trade when you trade with the AMM, there's a fees imposed. So those fees will be redirected back to the liquidity providers. Let's say you have 100. Let's take the example of one pepe costs 100 Satoshi, right? So you have 100 pepes. So you must put in equivalent of 10,000 Satoshis. So you put in that liquidity pool. Let's say that's the only liquidity pool that they have. Okay, and no one is adding or removing. So people buy, people sell, people buy, people sell, people buy, people sell, people buy, people sell. And throughout those things, all the fees you will get in the form of Satoshi.
Yeah.
So
my question is, so the underlying asset is so the pair is Satoshi versus slash Pep, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Okay, that's interesting. I'm curious to know about the technology in behind, because actually when you do like an instant sell, it's like you are trading with the platform instead of trading with the person, because on RGB you have to get consent with other parties before you wanted to confirm this trade. So it looks to me that that what you are trying to do is that move the custody from the user's perspective to the platform so that users can trade instantly, right?
Yeah, correct. In the sense of when you trade with the pool, you are trusting the pool. So
That's
whoever
true.
injecting the liquidity into the pool, they basically asking us to some sort of custody their liquidity, and we are enabling users to trade with the pool. We are not we don't manage the users' money. We just manage the users whoever that manage the pool. Whoever that inject liquidity in the pool, to be precise.
So just a side question. It could be very quick. Who is responsible for the pool, or can anyone create their own, liquidity pool?
Okay. The pool cannot have let's say you have a Pepe token, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can create Pepe against Satoshi pool, but once it's being created, you cannot have multiple same pools.
I see. So it's like a unique it's like a unique pool, right?
Yeah, unique
So
pool.
once the pool is being once the pool is being created, it cannot have a second one. It's like the name system for BRC20. You can only have one ticker, right? Something like that.
Correct.
Oh,
The same.
interesting.
The same also with Uniswap. As long as the Uniswap factory contract is deployed, you can only have one token pair per token. For example, if you have a token, the token against Ethereum, that's only one pair. You cannot have multiple pairs unless it's like token A against token B, token A against token C, token B against token C. Yeah, but if it's that so-called the particular name, Pepe against Satoshi, there can only be one pool and one pair.
Yeah, that's the factory contract that they've been working on with Uniswap. Yes, I understand the basic logic here. So I do, yesterday I have, some questions for you. Maybe why don't we just go one by one?
All right.
So the first question, is, something about lightnings, because people always misunderstood, the lightning as it in a layer two. Actually, the lightning network is a layer two kind of framework. It's not a unity kind of terminology. But I mean, for my question is RGB, can connect both, Bitcoin mainnet and Lightning. So what's the so both, require, state updates. So what are the advantages that using the Lightning network to upload, the final state, because they have to, synchronizing the states, right? So, what's the difference of, because eventually the Lightning have to, update the state to the mainnet. So what's the difference, directly upload to the mainnet? That's
Okay,
just my
so
first question.
first of all, I am very much into Lightning. I don't really have Bitcoin in Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin in Lightning mostly. I'm very into Lightning because it's fast, it's cheap. That's why I would like to advocate or promote. It's very fast, it's very cheap. At the same time, you have the security of Bitcoin. But then again, there's always a trade-off between these two. When you have fast, you have cheap, you have security, then you add complexity. For people that do not know, because when you have, you need to have your own node. It's not like Bitcoin where you can have your so-called private key and public key. Then that's it. You can forget about it. You have 10 Bitcoin in your wallet, then you can forget about it. No. But in Lightning, you need to have a computer running to receive and make payment. And it must be, if you receive payment 24/7, you need to have the computer running 24/7.
That's true.
Yeah. It's that's why it's fast, it's cheap, but it's also complex to manage the liquidity. At the same time, you must be able to connect to a lot of nodes, and you must find quality nodes, and you must manage the channel. So this complexity is a bit difficult. Very difficult for people that's new. So when people coming into Lightning Network, they are not used to self-custodial solutions such as running your own nodes and so on. They are used to custodial solutions. That's why Wallets of Satoshi was taken off the App Store because of it provides a custodial solution, meaning that with just username and password, you can have a Lightning wallet. But then those Lightning wallet is actually being managed by Wallets of Satoshi. They are not really your wallet.
That's true. Yeah.
It's a custody wallet. So any if I'm not mistaken, except if you're not running your own node, no one, basically all the solutions in the market are basically custody wallets, including
Custody, yeah.
Bitmask or Wallets of Satoshi, whoever they are, as long as they're not running their own nodes, they are still custody wallets. So that's one thing. Okay. Then back to RGB, right? Okay, so RGB requires the UTXO. This particular, you can so-called transfer the asset of RGB 20 or RGB 21 via Lightning. But I don't suggest you do now, because I tried it on my own, having 2 or 3 nodes on my own. I lost money. So I lost the amount of money because the technology is very, I wouldn't say alpha, it's pre-alpha. So it's like very dangerous to use. I don't think that we should use Lightning I have to be very clear of my terms. You shouldn't use transfer of RGB 20 or RGB 21 via Lightning. But what we can do is, okay, because the process of transfer of asset, let's take transfer of paper. We just use paper RGB 20 for example, right? Let's say I want to transfer 10 paper to paper. Paper has to issue me an invoice to issue that particular invoice, Pepper needs a UTXO. That UTXO can only be from mainnet at
That's
the moment.
true. Yeah.
At the moment.
At the moment, yes.
At the moment, okay. So Pepper got the UTXO. Pepper signed and give me the RGB 20 transfer invoice. Okay, then I take it. Okay. For me to change the so-called the state, I also need a UTXO. Okay, but since you want me to transfer for you, I say that, hey, you pay me. But instead of paying me in Bitcoin or paying me in some other form, you pay me via Lightning Network. So that's the idea that we are using for the exchange, that for me to transfer 10 Pepe for you, and I have to pay for the UTXO, right? So instead of you pay me via Bitcoin, you pay me via Lightning, but still, I still need the UTXO, and then provide the so-called consignment and give to you, and then you will give back to me some sort of what we call a payslip and broadcast it. So that means that receiver and sender both need UTXO, unfortunately. But for you to pay me, you can pay me via Lightning. That's the concept at the moment. That's the concept. That's not we are not using Lightning 100%. I don't think it's workable at the moment to try. Like when you mentioned the word is to upload the final state. No, unfortunately, no. You cannot use Lightning at the moment to use for the state change. No, you still need the UTXO, which is from the mainnet.
But in future, as far as I know, Lightning enables the HTLC, which I don't know stands for some kind of time lock and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can actually change, you know, the state within a UTXO. So or multiple multiple states upgraded and uploaded to one like within the one UTXO. So it's cheaper and it's like a batch transfer.
Yes, I agree. Actually, let's say for example, you can have Pepper Lightning node and Gray's Lightning node. So you put this way, I can only transfer to you.
Yeah.
Because only your node have the so-called RGB asset. You must have the so-called the RGB contract already on your node. That's the difficult part. At the moment, you see, it's very difficult to manage liquidity of Satoshi in Lightning Network. Imagine the complexity is going to be magnified when you have multiple or a lot of RGB assets, because we need some sort of corresponding so-called nodes that have that particular asset. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I think the Satoshi in Bitcoin mainnet is called Satoshi. In Lightning is called Dizzy, right?
I'm sorry?
Are they both like being called Satoshi? You know, from the Lightning and the mainnet. I think there's another name like called Satoshi, like not calling like Sats or Satoshi in Lightning Network. It's called Dizzy.
Okay, Dizzy is a service for you to convert so from mainnet to Lightning and Lightning to mainnet. But the idea here is that you can think like you have mentioned, Lightning Network is a L2. It is an L2. So the same so-called currency or token, the base currency of token is still the same in mainnet is Bitcoin, and the smallest denominator is Sats, and in Lightning is also Bitcoin and Sats. It's just the same. It's just that one in smaller channel and the other is in the what we call chain. Yeah.
Okay, now I know. Okay. Let's move on to the second one. The second question is, we've also known that the Tether is about to issue RGB kind of 20 like style in USDT. So I mean, as in terms of the privacy, because Bitcoin enable privacies, and we have the the government kind of have the anti AML within this. So the point being here is that the BTC privacy features that does this we have this atomic swapping make money laundering easier. So do we have like a solution for that, or maybe a simple one, or maybe we don't have a solution as for now?
This question is very dangerous for you to ask and for me to answer, because one, we're talking about regulators here. There's not many people that know about RGB, and imagine if this grow very big, whoever first on the market will become an expert and will be called by the government anytime. And you're not only answered to the government wherever you are staying, you also got answered. Everyone has to unfortunately answer to the US government, even though they are not citizens of the United States. It's very, very dangerous lah. You can see CZ is not a citizen of the United States, but have to answer.
Yes.
Still have to answer to the US government. All right. So let me answer your question one by one. Other than being scared that you asked this question. Okay, so the first question is atomic swapping will make money laundering easier. You can.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yes. I mean, we're just creating another need for for gamblers, for for casinos, for whatever the dirty job that they are doing. Atomic swap will make things easier, especially if you compare to the first coin mixer, I forgot the project's name, but the guy was caught in Holland or
correct. Yeah, coin mixer. Yeah, I am well aware of that. Yeah. And the thing is that he built a technology. He did not. I mean, I do not want to touch on the case, but he just built a technology. He's just a developer. I'm not sure whether he did launder money or not, but he built a technology for it. And that's why I'm saying that this question is very dangerous. Is that yes? The answer is yes. Definitely, it will make money easier. Let's say I want to transfer 1 million of US dollar in the form of RGB 20 from gray to pepper. No one can know. Because all they see is that one UTXO from me, which can be from anything. Might be for a game, might be for something else. And one UTXO from you might be just that you transfer money to create a Lightning Network channel. But deep down, I actually have transferred 1 million of USD Tether for you on RGB 20. Let's say the issue. So there's no way for people to find out unless, of course, I need to publish it back to the exchange, transfer it to the exchange, and exchange ask me, I need this transaction to be public. For example, right? On Ethereum, everything is publicized. So what can happen is that we can have, that's why I mentioned that this is also a project that I would like to explore next year, a few more months next year. It's just a few more months. Is that you can have an option to publish or make it private, your transaction. Okay, for example, let's say I want to transfer to you, right? So right now, when you want to send the invoice to me, when I want to give back your the consignment, when you want to give back the payslip for me, when to transfer, right?
Yeah.
It has to be done via I have to transfer to you via Telegram or via email or via chat, right? Correct?
That's true. Yes.
But we can also have a service that can make it automatically. It transfer to a third party, and this third party will transfer to you. All this information can be.
It's like you guys are making a ether scan.
Yes.
So the ether scan kind of recorded, either hidden, the hidden balancing kind of bad balance sheet, or you wanted to make it public?
Yes. It's going to be a good business, but it's going to be a very business that shouldn't be owned by anyone, because anyone that owns that particular business will be called by the government every single hour.
But you just mentioned me one very important point, is that when we have, and we will have, atomic swap, when the atomic swap is ready, there's a need for the market, especially for the money laundry need, for them to dissolve like a big order, like big orders into like smaller pieces orders, maybe in USDT RGB form, and they wanted to cash out. So what the SACs can do is that probably they will need them to provide some kind of consignment approval, or the consignment proof in the public forms, right? So I think this is the only way, if they wanted to bridge RGB 20 USDT to the SACs. That's very important.
I want to note here that our discussion is just theoretical. There's
theoretical, very theoretical. I
don't want to be called by the US government, the police, to come to my house. So yeah, it says this is just, we are exploring academically, I should say. Disclaimer.
That's true. Yeah. I should know this to the front. Yes. This is just the purely out of curiosity.
Yeah.
I am not doing this. I'm not implementing this. I'm just exploring, the possibilities that those stuff probably or can be done in some ways. I'm just curious, especially that.
Okay. So like I said, the transaction can be you can have three ways. Either you transfer privately, and then you send the invoice, the consignment, and the payslip via other channels, email, message, or whatever it is, or you can use a third-party service, but the transaction still be made private, or use a third-party service and make the transaction to be made public. Why you want the transaction to be made public? For example, I give you an example why. Okay, when let's say I buy something from you, I buy something that is not bad or not illegal. I buy a donut from you, a croissant from you, right? I buy one croissant from Pepper, right? I want to use RGB 20 just for fun. I just want to use RGB 20. I want to buy one croissant or donut from you. I already transferred money to you, but you can say that you haven't received. Correct? Because the transaction is private. So that's why I want to use this particular service that can publicize my transaction. Hey, I have sent the invoice to you. You have sent the receipt to me. You have received the balance. Now give me my donut. You see, there's always
yes. I understand your point, but you're making it's like you're making a third wheel for a couple, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're making a third wheel for a couple, and you just witnessing everything that has happened to that couple, and you just record that. But the point is, you have to incentivize the couple to grant you the opportunity to to witness, or just to look at. So but I think this is very interesting idea, and probably an interesting market for that. I mean, into the needs, because not like ordinary people, they don't care about privacy, like too much privacy about it, but incentivize them to sacrifice their privacy and maybe to have something to gain in the future. That could be an option.
Yeah, that's why I'm exploring as number 5, a scanner. Yeah, a scanner. Yeah, it's a scanner. But but never mind. Let's go to the. I mean, if you want on this,
sorry, it's the third question.
Just make sure that the government doesn't hear much from us lah, because I'm actually quite scared for someone. This is a very, very dangerous topic, because it's involved AMLA, Anti-Money Laundering Act. You can always is very broad and vague. At least in Malaysia, they covers a huge broad subject. So very dangerous lah.
Yes. We talk less about this stuff,
Yeah.
this topic and this subject.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So next question.
Yes. As for the next question, my understanding is that in RGB, you need to deploy a smart contract and include it to a UTXO, just like what you've said before. So can this be a new UTXO, or can I specify a particular UTXO? I would describe this as like you just you go to the bank and you open up the bank account, right? So and the bank account kind of store, you know, everything, every RGB assets that you have on already or in the future. So can this be, you know, a specify, or can you point it, you know, a particular UTXO, because that will be something awesome, because stuff has, you know, we're making history here. So this is just something I wanted to ask.
Okay, so you have further questions after that, but I'll explain it first. Okay, for the UTXO, okay, first you need to understand that, okay, Bitcoin doesn't operate on an account model like Ethereum, where you have your Ethereum address, transfer Ether to another address and so on. They operate on unspent, so-called unspent transaction mode. Yeah. So when you have, let's say you have 1 Bitcoin, okay, 1 Bitcoin, and I have 1 Bitcoin, I transfer to Pepper, whatever address Pepper has, then that address will have 0.1 Bitcoin, and a new so-called transaction, a new address there will have 0.9 address. That 0.9 is what we call the unspent.
And will return to you, right?
Yeah, will return to me, but it will be some sort of different address. So what can be done is that you have, that's why there's a project called Seal. It's a single-use seal where you actually use the UTXO or address to tie that particular transaction.
UTXO to tie a particular transaction.
Okay, so for example, I'm creating a contract. Let's not use minting contract. Let's use transfer of Pepper. Okay, I want to transfer 100 Pepper to Pepper. For that particular transfer or state change on me, I will create a UTXO, and I will say that this transfer will tie to my UTXO. You can tie to any UTXO you want, but if the UTXO is not within your control, people can use it. So that's the idea. You want a UTXO that cannot be used or won't be used in the future. Get it? If the
I get it.
If the UTXO is being used, let's say I take I want to do so-called transfer and so on, but then I use your past UTXO from the past, which I do not control. Okay, the UTXO from your wallet, which I do not control. You can manipulate the so-called the UTXO. It will be gone and so what? Then I will lose the state of my asset.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. But I mean, if this like so if, like I said, I mean, if anyone, so if I'm creating a like black hole contract, I'm sending it to, let's say, Satoshi Nakamoto's like the original UTXOs. Anyone can make say changes because they can benefit from, you know, it's like making like experiment history, like in history. I mean, this can be this is something that can be done in RGB, right?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Right. I mean, the stuff is like we cannot control, but I mean, we somehow interacting with Satoshi Nakamoto. So this is awesome.
Yeah, you can, but theoretically, let's say I don't want to use Satoshi. I will use Pepper, for example. Let's say I use your UTXOs, right? And then suddenly the tokens, the Pepe let's say I am, let's say, use the example that I am the creator of Pepe. Let's say I mean the contract using your UTXO. Suddenly because I'm do not have money to buy my UTXO, although it's very cheap. But never mind. I very cheapskate. I very stingy. I use your UTXO. Then the contract becomes big. You might just use the UTXO. You collect it back and use the UTXO. Then you won't. Basically, you are in the control of my token. You see. So when I use the UTXO that is not mine, I am no longer in control of that particular contract. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on which one you are choosing. But if you're choosing Satoshi Nakamoto, I don't think he's in control of anything.
But okay, but then again, let's just say you just use a UTXO from Satoshi, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll be the only one that using his UTXO? There might be 10 or 20. So whose contract? You have to see that what contract is going to be packed there. It's going to be a little bit complicated. The wallet is going to have a hard time because RGB is what we call a client-side validation, CSV. So you have to build a custom wallet, I would say, if you want to say that to whatever your whatever the contract that you build, and you have to build a custom wallet to understand it. Because I'm sure if a lot of people using Bitmask and attach the UTXO to whatever, let's say the first UTXO ever in the first block, the first UTXO in the first block, Bitmask is going to be, or any other wallet, going to have a hard time if there's a lot of contracts attached to one UTXO, because they do not know how to differentiate.
Yeah, that's the problem here. Yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, and you just enlightened me. Yeah, that might be a problem for the first, like the very first UTXO attachment.
Okay, so yeah, your next questions uploaded as hash stored in Bitcoin, hash stored in Bitcoin. No, they are not stored on Bitcoin. Unlike inscription, ordinals, all those kind of thing, those data are on the blockchain.
It's like stored input and output, right?
But RGB, no, it's not.
But RGB is like you upload a hash of the final changeable state, right?
No, you just use the UTXO. The relationship between mainnet and whatever on RGB is just the UTXO.
UTXO.
There's not, let's say you upload metadata or images or whatever it is. Those data is not going to be so-called uploaded on the blockchain. It's going to be on your local computer, and you transfer the contract to whoever it is. They're going to verify that it's yours via the UTXO only. So basically, because it's very different from inscription and so on, where you actually upload the data. That's why they are making mining fees are very expensive now. So they are because they're the transaction and all, because they're uploading data. But for RGB or Taproot asset, you don't use data. You don't upload data. You just need the UTXO only. So it's a huge difference, because you don't need a lot of data to be uploaded. You just need the UTXO. Just as long as you transfer more than 1,000 Satoshi, you will have a UTXO. Anything below it is going to be very low. That's why Bitmask is randomize the cost of the Satoshi. In Taproot asset, they keep it as 1,000. But in RGB, in terms of implementation by Bitmask, they randomize it. I think I can show to you. They randomize it to the point that it can be 5,000 Satoshi, 4,000 Satoshi, but it's going to be more than 1,000 Satoshi and below 10,000 Satoshi. As long as it's more than 1,000 Satoshi, it's not considered as DAS, DUSD.
Understood. Very understood. Yeah. Moving on to the next question. Well, this, specific, I would just say, because you just say, it's like the smart contract is within, it kind of, locked with a UTXO. So can this specific, what if those specific UTXO be spent and does it need to be freezed? Right.
I think I discussed this also with the RGB core team and also the Bitfinex team in the Telegram group. Yes, unfortunately, you can accidentally spend your UTXO. You can
same thing has happened with the first inscription.
Yes. Like the inscription, right? Yeah, you can actually spend your UTXO. There needs wallets or the CLI command line interface needs to be more robust and less prone to errors, because of at the moment how do I say this? When I play with RGB, right? I actually have to manually manage my UTXO, slowly write the code so that I get one UTXO, and those UTXO will never be spent, because in Bitcoin you can take back all your UTXO. Let's say you have 10,000 UTXO, right? Each is 1,000. That means that it's 10 million Satoshi or 0.1 Bitcoin. You can, in your wallet, it seems like you have 0.1 Bitcoin, but then those are UTXOs. Okay, so if you're not careful, if you write code like me, you're not careful, your UTXO will be gone. Might be useful.
Your UTXO might be spent.
Might be spent. Yeah, so like I said, it's better to transfer to an account that you control. And for me is that I was thinking there must be a better tool. For me is that maybe creating a tool that you have so-called to create another wallet. This wallet generate thousands of millions of address, and the keys you make it gone. So to the point that whatever that you create as UTXO, those amounts will never be touched ever again.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
So you create a wallet, and that wallet password is basically make it gone. You just generate address, and so on. No one will control the wallet, and you continuously get the UTXO. But no one can spend it, because they'll only be transferred into the wallet, but there won't be a transfer from the wallet to other wallet.
Interesting.
Now, this is one of the strategies, but there is no nothing set in stone. There's no clear cut on how to manage the UTXO at the moment. This is really up to you to manage. So very, very dangerous, I would say.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean, there's option for you to freeze your UTXO on Sparrow wallet.
Yes. So, since you mentioned Sparrow wallet, I use a Sparrow wallet, or let's say you use other kind of wallets, your UTXOs will be gone. So at the moment, as far as I know,
only Sparrow wallet.
Only Sparrow wallet.
Core maybe can provide some option for you to freeze the UTXO.
But I'm not sure people really aware how to use it. This is something that very advanced and technical. I wouldn't suggest normal users to. Very, very difficult. I think at the moment it's very difficult to manage UTXO. I think it's better for normal users to rely on wallets, RGB wallets such as Bitmask or Iris wallet to.
Yes. So if you want to, that could be a thing here, because if you want to issue a smart contract on your own, and it will be a hard time for you if you don't freeze your ownership of that UTXO. You might have spent that UTXO and your ownership is transferred. So that could be a thing.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking that you might have also a SaaS, software as a service, to actually sell UTXO.
Yeah, that yes, that's another way of it could be providing extra services for the wallet.
Because when you think about it, right? Let's say you have you want to have so-called UTXO. I spend like $3 to get one UTXO. That's the cost of the UTXO. But then to get that particular transaction to get that particular UTXO will cost me like $8 or $10. So total it would be like $15, especially with the high fees. I mean, I would like to screenshot the Bitmas the transaction, right? Yeah, it cost me like 3,000 Satoshi, but the transaction fee is 25,000 Satoshi. So 28,000 Satoshi, 28,000 Satoshi just to get one UTXO. But if you can, there's a service that actually so-called make a lot of UTXO, but then you have to trust the service. You make a lot of 1,000 Satoshi UTXOs, and then you make maybe 100, 200 transaction, and then you sell it to other users for 3,000 Satoshi. You make a profit like maybe 1,500 Satoshi per UTXO, and the UTXO is for you, but you have to trust. Then again, you have to trust the service, and you can get the UTXO fast. You don't have to wait for the blockchain to actually mine and get the UTXO.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Very inspiring. I mean, I want to be this series to be like learn from the best, learn from the expert. I think you guys know much more, like a lot of stuff, like very condensed stuff, better than me. So my last question. Okay. Finally, my last question. It's just because I've been looking at the docs, the documentation, the docs and technical stuff. So there's a terminology called, I don't know if I pronounce right, it's called Schema. Like the Schema kind of defines the logic and the interface defines the implementation. So so the smart contract is kind of designed in a very modular way, so that it's a very abstract way. So you can use one another, or it kind of empowers people that with a less or even no coding background. They can design a smart contract as well, because they can use the previous or already existed templates for the smart contract. So my question is that maybe there could be like an app store for Schema. So in the later futures, so you can just sell your the designing logic or the smart contract logic behind.
Yes. I think maybe you should start one. The app, so-called app store, Schema store, because at the moment, if you want to have the so-called RGB 20, there's an existing contract. Perhaps you can so-called have a service for you to have the write the contract and then mint the contract at the same time. It depends on you, or you just can sell the so-called the schema. The schema is very easy to write. You don't have to at the moment you don't have to learn programming to write the schema, because it's in a declarative language, meaning you can use YAML, YAML, or JSON to describe the contract. And then, but then you need to have a little bit know how to take the YAML and then to compile it into become a RGB smart contract, because you need you see in the form of they have a specific form. So that particular specific form of RGB contract can be compiled from YAML or JSON. So yes, anyone can sell. It's really up to you. Yes, I think that eventually people can sell the smart contracts or the service of smart contract, because at the end of the day, the RGB contract is just a smart contract. But at the moment, the issue, I think if you realize it, I mean, RGB community is a very small community. We all know each other, I think. I think you spoke to maybe a quarter or half of the people in RGB. Not many people already here.
Already in RGB, that's true.
Yeah, not many people in RGB. So not many developers, not many startups. We only mentioned one startup, which is Bitmas and Diba. So not many. Other than and Bitfinex, but Bitfinex is not a startup. Yeah, but they are the biggest contributor to the RGB ecosystem at the moment. But before we go to reach a app store or schema store, I think we need to have a better ecosystem, tooling ecosystem, meaning that we need to have the language, a client-side validator or the wallet that is not just in Rust. At the moment, it's just in the Rust language. It should be,
Need some kind of SDK, just to convert the language, or the WASM, to have integration with more different languages. Otherwise, the Rust is, to me, I mean, I'm always like introduction to the Rust. So Rust is a very basic, it's kind of it's a very basic language. Other than some advanced language, you cannot compare to Python or JavaScript, and those are very basic languages. But Rust is a bit hard. So if someone can do some contributions on the SDKs, that would be great. That would be wonderful.
I think that there's a library called assets.js. The moment that you have RGB.js, the ecosystem going to explode. The ecosystem going to explode, because I never met any real life Rust developer. I never met one, unfortunately, except for me. I have more than 200. Because I'm running a company, I have more than 60 JavaScript developers. That can develop JavaScript. I never met one in my life. Rust developer in my life. I'm sorry. I mean, I met via Telegram. I know a few via Telegram, but I never met one that can program in Rust in real life. But JavaScript, you have a lot. You have you might think that you can learn Rust, it's very easy, blah blah blah. But then again, you need to have the mind share. If you develop a tool or SDK that is in JavaScript, you can have the next month, I can promise you can have 10 wallets. We don't have to depend on Bitmas alone. And then you can have 10 NFT marketplace. You don't have Diba alone. You can have 10 Uniswap clones, 20 PancakeSwap, Uniswap, whatever on RGB. You can have hundreds of games, hundreds of DeFi on RGB.
Yeah, that's the high barrier of entry is killing. That's why the RGB is so slow. It's because the high area of entry. Rust is to me, Rust is a very difficult language. Just take a look at the Solana. They're using Rust as well. And some Move ecosystem language, like the Move is alternative kind of from the Rust. So it's all very basic language, and they're I agree your point. And we should have something in the near future that which enable us with more populations or developers getting into this ecosystem.
Because the basically for let's say if you want to develop apps or dApps for Ethereum, right? Ethereum now is very expensive. You have to pay maybe $10-20 to deploy a contract. But assuming that we have a JavaScript SDK, and then we have the UTXO market UTXO service provider, like we mentioned the previous discussion about the UTXO service, right? UTXO
Yeah.
service. Let's say we have that. People can deploy contract. People can write contract cheaply. They can, like, maybe in the event that, like, Bitcoin fell down in price, whatever it is, maybe for less than $1, they can deploy contract. So the cost as a what do you mention it, limiting factor is very significant. So if the cost and the technical factor, if you make it very easy, you make it very cheap, there's bound to be even developers at the age of 12, 14. I have niece
Yeah,
and
you can.
nephews doing JavaScript because they want to build website for their Roblox guild and so on. So you imagine if you make it in JavaScript, you can have kids building DeFi or GameFi because the nature of it is very fast. You don't need to wait for hours, or maybe Bitcoin last time there was a 1 hour plus wait for the block to be mined. So now you don't have to wait for hours, you don't have to wait, and then the cost is cheap. It's unlike what do you call it, unlike Ethereum, where it's cost you a lot to deploy a contract. It's cost you very
Mhm.
cheap. Let's say you develop a very sophisticated and complex smart contract, it will cost a lot on Ethereum, but on RGB it will cost just one UTXO. At the end of the day, it will cost you one UTXO. Doesn't matter how complex is your smart contract, it will cost you one UTXO. So the cost will always remain fixed and low. So imagine when you have all this, and it's very, and I'm not sure in other countries, but in Malaysia, Bitcoin is everything. Some people don't know what Solana, Matic. A few know Ethereum, but when it comes to crypto, Bitcoin is everything. So you imagine that kids, the first thing that they know is Bitcoin, 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 and they develop on it. They just remain in the ecosystem. It's cheap, it's fast with the lightning. It's fast, it's cheap, and it's easy to develop. This is the recipe. Either you can say disaster, or is the recipe to make RGB ecosystem to explode or magnify by 100 or 1,000 times. Cheap, fast, easy.
Yeah, you're just giving me. I mean, you kind of you're. It's like I mean, I see the future. I kind of have this vision of the future that the kids are using JavaScript and making making D apps on RGB. I mean, to me, it's like the future. I mean, I couldn't wait, for the SDKs for other supported tools that that are very necessary for the ecosystem to be built at, and it will be a very great impact for the ecosystem as well. So, I mean, we've taken like an hour now to talk about everything going wrong. So, as a closing, just do a wrap up here. What are the final words that you wanted to say to the audience?
Okay. So I hope the RGB team will hear my plea that we're going to they please because we're asking they to work for free, basically, to develop the JavaScript SDK, because if they develop the JavaScript SDK, I promise that I will build the dApps. I will promise to build the DeFi dApps, such example, decentralized exchange, hybrid exchange, and farms. I also very interested to build the infrastructure for the RGB, such as RGB wallet, RGB Explorer, and Scanner. And I'm thinking of to build a lot of games because I'm into games and so on. And unfortunately, Bitcoin is play money, but now has become very serious. Otherwise, when I was younger, 10, 13 years ago, Bitcoin is very new. I bought it in 2010. We usually use it mostly for game, as in like when you, instead of you transfer pounds, because I was studying in the UK, instead of you transfer money via bank, HSBC and so on, we actually transfer Bitcoin because it's just like for fun, for stupid kind of thing, like, you know, playing games and so on, trade skins and so on. Yeah, so I'm still into it now. I hope that Bitcoin will always be that de facto currency for gaming.
Yeah, that's I mean, everyone has like their own kind of a dream of a Bitcoin, what the Bitcoin can do. Like they want to enable Bitcoin to do, like, to carry out different responsibilities. I mean, game is definitely one of them. I currently do. So yeah, I mean, thanks for like Green Christian to join us today. I mean, we've just spoke for like an hour. It's very inspirational. I really like. I wanted to rename the series as "Learn from the Best" or the "Learn from the Expert." I mean, for RGB, I'm just a starter. I have a lot to learn. It's really it's for RGB, it's a very high barrier of entry. So I'm digesting every, you know, the information, you know, the documents and stuff, the technical terms and all the stuff, and I do my implementation of nudes and CIL as well. So that's also something very new to me. So I'm start learning. But that's, yeah. I mean, thanks for joining in. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity just to clarify everything that I have a concern, or the community as well.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.